Redkey produces expensive vacuum cleaners with very impressive characteristics. A striking example of this approach is the Redkey F10 upright vacuum cleaner. This model has a practical body where traces of dirt are hard to notice, an economic design, a universal turbo brush and a motor with a suction power of 23,000 pascals. At the same time, you can buy Redkey F10 for only $166. Is the vacuum cleaner really that powerful and elaborate, or it's just a marketing trick? Let's carefully study the Redkey F10, test it on different surfaces and try to answer this question. Let's start with the package. It includes body of the vacuum cleaner, battery, adapter, reserve HEPA filter, wall-mounted docking station, main nozzle, nozzle 2-in-1, crevice nozzle, bendable bar. Instruction. In general, the equipment corresponds to the class of the vacuum cleaner. There's a docking station and a reserve filter, but there's no furniture nozzle and other additional accessories from the premium segment. Let's take a closer look at the vacuum cleaner. The main unit has a functional design. Above the pistol grip is the motor unit, and below is the battery. Optimal design in terms of balance. A vertical dust collector is placed in front of the nozzle. It can be emptied without taking it out of the vacuum cleaner. The volume of the dust collector is 600 ml. It's enough to press the release button and the garbage will fall into the trash bin. But of course not all will fall out, and you will have to clean the filters with your hands. The flask is held on a twist lock. It is easy to remove. The mesh filter is removed in the same way. The flask and filter can be washed under the tap. The first HEPA filter is located under the dust container cover. After it, the air enters the engine compartment and then passes through another HEPA filter, which is located at the end of the engine block. The handle has an insert made of soft touch plastic. It is pleasant to hold the vacuum cleaner in your hand. Under the index finger there is a start button. It works on a single click, you don't need to constantly clamp it. The control panel is located on top. You can manually adjust the power or turn on the automatic mode, in which Redkey will do it on its own. If a lot of debris enters the bell, the power increases. If few, it decreases. If the brush is clogged and the motor is blocked, the corresponding indicator lights up on the left side of the monitor. The battery is placed along the guides. You can quickly replace it during the cleaning process. The connector of the adapter is located in the battery pack, so you can charge the battery separately from the vacuum cleaner. Now let's look at the nozzles. The crevice nozzle is telescopic. If you need to get far behind the refrigerator, you can simply extend the spot. For such creativity, the manufacturer definitely deserves a like under the video. The 2-in-1 nozzle, depending on the position of the bristles, can be a furniture brush or just a nozzle with a small socket. Pay attention to the fabric lining at the end of the bell. It collects dust from a polished cabinet or from the leather upholstery of the sofa. The main nozzle is classic with the large wheels at the base and rollers in the corners. It connects to the bar through a hinge with the small angles of inclination. In front of the bell there are headlights with LEDs and shock absorber. It softens collisions with skirting boards. The outsole has a fluffy dust cap and a bell with a carpet turbo brush. It is similar to a Roborock or Dyson turbo brush, only in a more budget version. To remove it, you need to press the push button and pull it away from the lock. At the same time, you can clean the bell. All nozzles can be placed both directly in the nozzle and through the bar. It deserves special attention because it has a built-in elbow with a corrugated hose. A very handy thing if you need to vacuum cleaner under the bedside table or under the cabinet. The docking station provides connectors for additional nozzles and a socket for an adapter. After connecting it, charging occurs using these terminals. To fix the docking station, you have to make holes in the wall in 3 places. The assembled structure looks like this. In general, Redkey F10 makes a good impression. Plastic is inexpensive, but the assembly is reliable. There are locks and latches everywhere, the details fit clearly. No traces of casting are visible. Of the specific design features, I can note the 2-tied fastening of the turbo brush retainer, but here you just need to adapt. Battery capacity 2,500 mAh. According to the manufacturer, Redkey F10 can walk up to an hour without recharging. But this is at a minimum speed, and at maximum speed Redkey walked for 7 minutes. Therefore, you need to spend a battery carefully, and if you have a large house, it is better to immediately buy another one. Moreover, it recharges almost 5 hours. I also checked the noise level. It is average for the vacuum cleaner from 71 to 84 decibels, depending on the selected suction power. According to the manufacturer, it is 140 watts or 23,000 pascals. To check this indicator, I used an anemometer, and the results surprised me. At a minimum power, the device recorded 22.4 meters per second. For many verticals, this is the maximum, and for Redkey F10, this is the starting figure. And at the maximum speed, the vacuum cleaner set an absolute test record, 41.8 meters per second. This is the most powerful vacuum cleaner I have ever owned. I've compared with other units. I would say that it doesn't have 140 watts, but 180 to hundreds. But there are just numbers. It is much more important how the vacuum cleaner copes with cleaning. I don't think that the Redkey F10 will have any problems with the laminate, but for the sake of completeness, we will also conduct this test. I clean the automatic mode, and I can immediately say that this mode works correctly. As soon as more specs flies into the socket, Redkey immediately adds speed, and when it comes to a clean floor, it immediately reduces them to a minimum. Switching occurs instantly and without delay, like some analog. This has a positive effect on the quality of cleaning. As you can see, all kinds of garbage ended up in the dust collector. Moreover, only wool and fine dust got to the mesh filter. The rest of the debris settled on the bottom of the flask under the rubber skirt. On carpet, the Redkey F10 added power immediately, so it took the same amount of time to clean as it did on laminate. Headlights protrude beyond the bell line, so getting to the baseboards is not very convenient. You have to constantly walk along the wall sideways. This is my only complaint. In the rest, you see for yourself. It worked flawlessly. Please note that there is a lot of wool in the dust box, and the turbo brush is almost clean. Often you don't have to take it out. The most difficult task for a vacuum cleaner is a test on an average carpet. At maximum power, the nozzle sticks to the carpet and even lifts it off the floor. Pillar, sands, grains, crumbs. It doesn't matter for a vacuum cleaner, the nozzle collects everything. Even additional passes are not needed. I spent the same time on each of the 3 tests. The Redkey F10 does a great job cleaning, but in addition to the main nozzle, the set also includes additional ones. I will say a few words about them. The crevice tool will help you pull dust out from behind your closet and vacuum between sofa cushions. The 2-in-1 nozzle is more functional. With its help, you can clean up after a small repair, clean your robot vacuum cleaner, get crumbs out of your laptop, collect dust on the ledge. Redkey F10 is a middle-class vacuum cleaner. Therefore, in some places it has cheap plastic, not a complete set. No display, if this is important to you. In other aspects, Redkey F10 is not inferior to competitors from the premium class. This is especially true of the suction power, which this vacuum cleaner is just crazy and doesn't match the modest numbers on the box. The versatile nozzle copes with any surface, and the bendable shaft makes it easy to work under furniture. If you don't want to overpay for useless bells and whistles, and if you don't need a furniture brush, you can safely take the Redkey F10. This is a real monster, not a vacuum cleaner.